Whether your shift was big or small, just notice how the shift widens your creative radar. Okay, just like check in with yourself a little bit here. That's the polyvagal relaxed abundance loop that we kind of teased in a little bit earlier. Okay, safety comes, then we go to dopamine rising, wider perception, serendipity. So just keep tapping on any residue later, all right? And in the replay, we'll have the timestamps. You can come back to this tapping round, do it again, okay? So now that we've unclutched, let's take a quick look before we wrap up at what actually happens in your brain-body system when you stay or are able to return to this surrendered state. Okay, so a little neuroenergetic backing mini lesson to honor the time that we have already gone over. And thank you to all of you who are able to stay and who have stayed. So yeah, that spaciousness after doing just a few minutes of like targeted tapping, right? You feel it? It's like somebody kind of like loosened like a corset on your nervous system. And our nervous system is like a container, right? Tapping expands that container. It increases our resilience, our responsiveness versus reactiveness, okay? So let's geek out briefly on why that lightness and that space we've created is like pure rocket fuel for manifestation, okay? So there's 3 types of nervous system zones on what Dr. Stephen Porges calls the polyvagal ladder in polyvagal theory, okay? The first is dorsal shutdown. Okay, it's like a sloth on NyQuil. Okay, binge scrolling, freezing, flatlining creativity. All right. Then we have sympathetic overdrive. That's the classic ADHD hustle. I know y'all are familiar with it. Okay, heart racing, inbox pinging, brain playing pinball at 3:30 in the morning. You do a lot. You receive very little. There's not much payoff for all of the non-stoppiness. All right. Yeah, sloth on NyQuil. Didn't even know there was a name for that before I was doing. Yep, that's what it is, Melanie. That's what I call it, at least. So that little tapping round, it's a nudge up the ladder, so to speak, into ventral. Okay. And that safer feeling body, a more open mind, wider perceptual field. I call that like relaxed abundance zone. Okay. And I always say to myself, like, relax, woman. Like, relaxation is magnetic. Money loves a relaxed woman or man, okay? Because results show up when the tension of your body makes way to the openness and receiving that can occur, okay? And this is modeled in so many other areas of our life, like sex. We don't have time for that today. So we've got to kind of like talk brain chemical reactions, particularly dopamine for a minute, how that relates to detaching, okay? So dopamine spikes when we feel both agency and safety, okay? Sarah said I've got a headache anyway. Oh, I love you guys. And I could do a whole workshop on how sex comes into all of this. And I should probably do that. I would love that. I would geek out on that. Dopamine spikes when we feel agency and safety. Okay. So think of dopamine as the brain's like, this is worth doing signal. Okay. Agency is I can influence this. Safety is I won't get punished for trying. Okay. When those two fire together, the brain releases just enough dopamine to light up that prefrontal cortex, which is like waking up the brain's CEO. Your planning, your focus, your intuition, your pattern spotting all come online without tipping you into stress chemistry. Okay. You get clean motivation, steady pursuit, better decisions, less second guessing. All right. And if you only have agency without safety, you get pushy hustle. Dopamine mixed with cortisol, tunnel vision, and burnout, okay? If you have safety without agency, then it's like cozy stagnation, calm but no traction, all right? The magic is in the blend. I can move the needle and it's okay to succeed or learn on the way, okay? So currently, we're in that beautiful post-tapping place. Your system has that safe either way signal online. Safety plus agency pair up, your brain flips another powerful switch. The RAS, that built-in search engine and highlighter, retunes its filter, okay? And you know how you learn like a new concept and then you hear about it everywhere? or you decide, like, I don't know, like you want a new mattress and then every option starts to present itself. That's like the RAS doing its job. You'll probably like hear some of the things that we learned today that piqued your interest coming through on Instagram Reels or ads on the radio or from one of your friends in conversation. Notice, pay attention, because you set this cascade in motion today. Dopamine up, prefrontal cortex on, RAS widens. And with that wider filter, you start noticing the opportunity packed like emails or, you know, something from a joint venture partner or whatever that you'd normally otherwise skim past. Okay? Perhaps it's an ancient invoice that you forgot to send or cash in on. Your world did not change in a second. Your filter did. Okay? So let's capitalize on that open filter and, you know, in your notes, just like ask yourself, like, what's something that you'd like some more clarity on or next steps for? And just, you can even just like write, like, show me one aligned next step for insert your goal today. Okay? Write it down for yourself. Short, specific, kind. Your RAS will start fetching that evidence as we wrap up here. And you'll notice that now that your body feels the logic and the relaxed abundance, that's when you can shift into receive. Okay? So receiving is about embodied outcomes. Okay? And embodiment is experiencing the future as the present. Harvard studies show that vividly imagining tasting a lemon can trigger salivation. Body follows mind, okay? Marketers use this all the time for sensory priming. Athletes call it mental rehearsal. Neville Goddard calls it living in the wish fulfilled, and I love that. So quick sensory anchor to end things today. We're gonna set up sensory anchor so that you can come back to this. Somebody in the community asked me, and I'm sorry, I'm forgetting who it was. It might have been you, Faith. I don't remember. Somebody asked me about how to get their frequency up again. It was you. Okay. Thank you for that. So this anchor that we're going to create right before we wrap up is a great way to do it. So pick one subtle cue you can do anywhere. And for those of you joining me in VIP, we're going to use this anchor again. It could be like a thumb to index finger pinch. It could be a hand on your heart, 2 fingers to like the center of your chest on your like sternum. It could be even like a finger to your temple, whatever. We're going to charge that up. We're going to reinforce it later. Okay. So as long as you know what you'll do, that's all that matters right now. And it just should be something that like wherever you are, it wouldn't be like a weird thing to do. So close your eyes if that's comfy for you, or soften your gaze, and we'll just kind of build this really quickly in a few layers. Okay. Visual layer, okay? Rendering the scene is the first thing that we're gonna do. So I want you to just see one vivid snapshot from your vision, whether that's, you know, something marked paid in full, your spouse laughing with you because you're communicating better than ever, the names of you and your loved ones on airline tickets that you purchased, from abundance and overflow to your destination of choice, stepping into that sunlit kitchen, feeling pain-free, making a healthy meal. Lock it in like a screenshot, okay? Colors, light, details, lock it in. Then we're gonna kind of turn up a little support on that, the auditory, okay? I want you to hear some kind of a confirming sound that goes along with your vision, whether it's that striped cha-ching sound, somebody's laughter, sounds associated with your travels, your own like steady breath even, the sounds of preparing a meal. Turn up the volume a click, turn it up. Then let's go kind of into a kinesthetic layer here. Locate that feeling. Notice where success lands in your body. Is it warmth in your chest? Is it length in your spine? Is it openness in your heart? A little something in your belly? As that sensation grows, press your cue. Whether it's that pinch or your heart or whatever you chose, press your cue for one slow breath and think, already mine. Add one more sensory pixel here, okay? Smell or taste as appropriate. For instance, maybe it's the smell of crisp money. We don't want the taste. Maybe it's your partner's cologne, perfume, something familiar, an enjoyed scent that accompanies them. Maybe it's ocean air, tarmac, celebratory, healthy choices. Maybe it's citrus or dark chocolate. As you notice it, press your cue again for one slow breath. Let that feeling swell as you press the cue for the third time. Same thought, already mine. Beautiful. Y'all can gently open your eyes, okay? Now that cue stores the state you just created. So you can use it like this, okay? You can fire it, press the cue, plus a slow exhale, and silently think, already mine, just like we practiced, okay? You could use it in whatever the appropriate scenario is, depending on what you created. Maybe it's before you post to social media. Maybe it's before you hop on a sales call. Maybe it's before you have a difficult conversation, before you write, before you work out, before you plan an adventure. There's so many potential places to use a cue. Reinforce it. Run it for like 60 to 90 seconds, this mini rehearsal, and press the cue 3 times as you run the rehearsal. Maybe try it every morning for the next 3 to 7 days. As Joe Dispenza always says, neurons that fire together wire together, okay? This is what's happening here. Name it so your brain files it, okay? Whether it's your cue for being a calm communicator or an abundance attractor, whatever you would call this cue, give it a name, okay? Ease and overflow, whatever it is, okay? And then make sure you do not anchor a stressed state, okay? If you're spun up, do a nice inhale and exhale, and then press the cue, all right? And over time, this becomes like a 5-second download into that relaxed abundance on demand.